As a child, Leslie was always happy, very bubbly, and she had a laugh that I feel like we still hear. Leslie was very nurturing. She would always take care of us. I mean, like I said, we were either always with her, but she was very close with my younger brother, Joe. We looked up to her.
Oh, she was a great kid. The way that she took care of my children was spectacular. My kids have a hard time today without her. When Dominic came around, trouble started for us. We really never hit it off. You know, anyone that can't carry on the conversation and ask you how you're doing and things of that nature, you know there's something, inside eating them up.
She did get pregnant when she was 17, and she had Anthony January the year she turned 18. We were going to go to the drive-in. Leslie wasn't going to come with us. She was going to go over a friend's house with Anthony, which at that time was 7 months old. We returned from the drive-in around 11 or so at night. We noticed that in her bedroom, everything was gone.
All the baby's clothes, diapers, her clothes, the furniture, her baby bed, and everything was gone. So it was like she was kidnapped, but it was at her will.
We didn't have any contact with Leslie for several months, which I felt was very hard when you're so used to your sister helping and getting you ready for school and dressing you, and now you have to, do a lot of that on your own. I had to learn how to curl her hair and, even put makeup on. I thought she was going to be the one to show us. It never felt the same. We were able to keep in contact at the time, though it would have to be when Dominic was at work.
He was not only isolating, but I can tell you that Leslie worked in the same building as my wife, and he had so much control on her that she couldn't even talk to my wife. She could only say hi, wave at her.
It wasn't just emotional or physical, financial. He was in control of her.
I was told by some of her friends that it wasn't just us, that Dominic was keeping her away from them as well. At that point, it was after the fact that I realized there was abuse there. It really bothered me because I didn't realize it.
Me and Leslie were communicating more. She was at her breaking point. She told me a lot about how, what had happened as far as her leaving. That wasn't what she wanted. Leslie called me and said that she had the next few days off. I'm going to look for some apartments, maybe even go talk to a lawyer, and I'll call you tonight. And I never received that phone call.
The girl at my wife's work called and told me, "Joe, you need to come here right away." And I said, "Is there something wrong with Cindy?" And they said, "No, it's Leslie." I had the feeling that she was dead. And the police officer was right there, and she had told us that Leslie was killed. And it was devastating to find out someone that you love not died, but killed, taken away from you. It's the hardest thing you can imagine.
It was very hard in the beginning. We lost Leslie once, and we lost her for good the second time.
There were times when Leslie left Dominic, and those times were just for a half a day, for a day. I believe that if she would have been at the Hope House, somewhere like that, she would have been protected. I think the Hope House would have helped her out with a lot of counseling and been able to tell her what was the future going to be.
Hope House helps in a lot of ways. The biggest thing is having a place for victims to go, especially here in Kansas City. We have a real lack of resources. There are several domestic violence shelters, but not nearly enough for everyone to have a space. There's therapy, there's case management, there's resources, there's court assistance. It's just much more all-inclusive than a shelter that you can go and stay at. If Leslie had been able to get help from Hope House, could we say that definitively she would be alive today? No. But would she have had an opportunity to have someplace safe to go when she escaped? Yes. And would she have had a system in place that would support her and help to keep her safe? Yes. And is that one of the reasons that Hope House is so important and so integral in society today? Yes. And it's just so important to have organizations like Hope House so that another situation like Leslie's doesn't happen again.
I feel like Hope House would be very helpful for someone in Leslie's situation, because I just remember telling her that I wish I had the money to help you. And I think if I would have known about Hope House, I would have at least been able to give her the information for us to both look into. And I think that that would have helped. I would like people to know that suffering from any type of domestic abuse, to know that it's not your fault, you're not alone, and that there are resources such as Hope House that can help you.